Hey, I'm Matthew Weaver with Wingfield Scale. One question we hear a lot is when does it actually make sense to rent a scale instead of buying one? And the honest answer to that, it just depends on the job. So, for some companies, buying a permanent scale actually makes sense. If you need the scale every day in the same place for years at a time, ownership might actually be the right move for you. But rental scales are usually the smarter choice when the weighing need is temporary, when it's seasonal, when it's urgent or tied to a specific project. And a good example would be physical inventory, right? A plant may only need extra floor scales, bench scales, roll around scales, or counting scales for a very short period. But in that case, buying a large group of scales could create more problems than it solves. Think about that. You have to store them, right? You have to maintain them. You have to make sure they still work. You have to think about calibration. And with cheaper online scales, you may find out later that they cannot be properly serviced or calibrated the way your operation needs. So, really, the sticker price of a scale is not always the real cost. And honestly, the same idea applies when you're comparing rental scale options. Maybe you need counting scales and real counters for inventory. Maybe you just need floor scales for temporary production support. Um, in any case, the cheapest weekly rental rate may not be the best value if the scales are not available when you need them, if they are not calibrated before the job starts, or if your team has to spend extra time getting that equipment ready on site. And that is one of the biggest things Jimmy Sutter, our rental department manager, talks about with customers. The real question is not just what is the weekly rental price? The better question is what is the total cost of getting accurate calibrated rental scales on site, ready to use when the job starts? And that question becomes even more important on something like a large inventory project because really availability is part of readiness. If you only need one or two scales, finding equipment may not be difficult. But if your inventory project requires 40, 75, 100, or even more rental scales at the same time, the issue is not about price anymore. It's whether the provider actually has enough calibrated equipment available, prepared and ready to deliver when your inventory window begins. And that is where Wingfield's rental fleet makes a big difference. Why? Because Wingfield Scale has the largest scale rental fleet in the United States, and that matters when availability, calibration, and timing all have to come together at once, right? And perhaps more importantly, we are not pulling out old equipment and hoping it works like a lot of providers in our industry. Every scale we offer is modern. Everything is designed to be easy to use. They are built for the way plant teams actually work. And for many inventory projects, that also means battery powered rental scales with enough battery life to get through the job without running cords across the plant floor. And, something like that may seem like a small detail, but we invest in it because fewer wires means less clutter. It means fewer trip hazards, faster setup, and less time spent working around the equipment. And ultimately, we want operators to use equipment confidently without fighting outdated software. I mean, you already work too hard to have to be dealing with complicated setups, and eliminating problems with better equipment speeds up inventory, and faster inventory means you save time and money. So, really, your experience should just be as simple as this: the scales show up ready, the setup is planned, the equipment is matched to the job so your team can focus on inventory without distractions that waste time. Now, when else does it make sense to rent? So, besides using rental scales for temporary projects like physical inventory, another place where it makes sense to rent is when you need to test a process before committing to permanent equipment. And this is often overlooked, but it's really worth mentioning. So, like maybe you're not sure which scale capacity is right. Maybe you're testing a temporary site. Maybe you need axle weighing or a truck scale rental for a short term vehicle weighing operation. Maybe you need portable weighing equipment for a project that will move from one location to another. So, in these cases, renting actually gives you more flexibility to test processes without locking you into a permanent purchase too early. So, to conclude, based on everything we just talked about, really renting usually makes sense when you need accurate weighing equipment for a limited time, um, when downtime matters, when you need a large number of calibrated scales for your project, when you want to avoid hidden ownership costs, or when you need equipment ready to use without adding more work for your team. So all of these are reasons why you might want to rent a scale instead of buying one. And at Wingfield Scale, we help customers match the rental scale to the job, the site, the capacity, and the schedule. And that could be floor scales, it could be truck scales, but the goal is always the same: get the right scale on site, ready to work when your team needs it. So, if you're planning an inventory, a temporary weighing project, or you need an emergency replacement or something like that, I recommend starting with the rental options on our website. And to get there, you can just pause this video and scan the QR code right here. And if you're already on our website, um, you can fill out the contact form somewhere below this video. And if you need to get in touch with us even faster, I recommend to just pick up the phone and call us at this number right here, 423-698-0100. So something we really take pride in as a company is fast, hassle-free service. So when you call us, you can expect a human interaction. There's no robots or annoying phone trees. Just reach out and we'll take care of you. Again, I'm Matthew Weaver, and thank you so much for watching this video.